we're going to talk about one of the most important tools a storyteller uses, your voice. And we'll be doing lots of vocal exercises to help you warm up your voice and to explore the different aspects of vocal intonation available to you for your character development. And perhaps most importantly, we'll consider how your vocal rhythm impacts the overall flow of your story. So first, let's warm up your voice. Most of us sit at computers most of the day. We don't consciously warm up our voices to prepare to go to work. But you may do some unconscious vocal warm-ups as a part of your morning routine. And I want to highlight how really effective some of these unconscious behaviors can be when you consciously use them in preparing for your storytelling. Now, it's useful to incorporate some of these warm-ups into your morning routine, both for the benefit of your everyday storytelling and when you also have to give a presentation or to speak in front of a group of people. Because when you don't warm up your voice, you can hurt yourself. You can strain your vocal folds. If you aren't ready to project your voice, you could hurt yourself. And if you don't project your voice, your audience can't hear you. You aren't as prepared to be as playful with your voice while you're telling. It's just like stretching before a game. It's just more enjoyable when you've limbered up. And these are vocal, physical warm-ups because your voice, like your brain, it isn't some disembodied entity that exists outside of your body. No, it's here. It's in your throat, and it's in your mouth, and it's here in your diaphragm, which is the real power of where your voice comes from. It's not up here in your lungs, it's down here in your diaphragm. And we're going to warm up all of this system right now, starting with some things that you probably do every morning. And the first thing is, you woke up this morning, you may have yawned. So go ahead, sit up straight and comfortable, roll your shoulders back. Feel that strain too. We'll work on warming up the rest of your body in a coming lecture, but right now we're working here in your throat and in your diaphragm. So roll those shoulders back a couple of times and sit up straight and give yourself a good yawn. Big yawn, really feel your cheeks and your jaw muscles stretch out. You can make yourself yawn anytime. Just start that yawn. If someone else is there with you, you might look at each other. Yawns are very catching. Now, when you come to the end of your yawn, I want for you to do something. Take 2 fingers and put them between your lips just inside your mouth. So if you tried to close your mouth with your fingers in there, your jaw would catch your fingers, and you couldn't shut your mouth. And while that looks incredibly silly, what these fingers do is that they keep you from clamping your teeth down at the end of your yawn, which is something many of us do as an unconscious stress gesture. So we have this lovely stretching yawn in the morning, and we bite down on the end of that yawn, and it just tenses all of these jaw muscles right back up. And these fingers keep you from clamping down and straining the muscles that you just so nicely loosened. So when you finish your yawn, either place your fingers there, or just imagine those fingers are there and just end your yawn with your mouth open about an inch. So give yourself another yawn. It's very lovely, very relaxing. Now, this is another facial stretch that you might have seen your cat do. And if you've ever seen a cat really stretch, you'll see them stretch out those front paws and then those back legs, and then the cat just sticks out its tongue and it stretches its tongue out. The cat gets its whole body into the stretch. Even a cat realizes that a tongue is a muscle, just like any other muscle. Now, we're socially trained not to stick our tongues out unless you're really mad at someone on the playground. But we're going to stretch your tongue. And it's the same principle as a cat might use, but we do the stretch a little bit differently. I want you to take the tip of your tongue and place it behind the bottom front row of your teeth. This is a Kristen Linklater stretch. Now, Linklater is a professional theater vocal coach. She trains actors to use their voices in a variety of styles, including classical Shakespearean. So with this stretch, in the middle part of your tongue, I want you to push up and out of your mouth. And it looks like this. Kind of silly, but it looks like this. Now, I don't want you to do this stretch too much. Don't do this more than 5 times a day or 5 times at a time, because I actually did have a friend who sprained her tongue when she did this several times in a row. It was kind of painful for her, so not too much. But just about 3 times, keep that tip of your tongue on the lower row of your teeth and stretch the middle part of your tongue out of your mouth. You should feel it stretching all the way back in the back of your throat, back here. The average human tongue is about 4 inches long. And you can feel the muscles connect and stretch when you do this stretch all the way down into your throat. Now, this vocal tract is a lot longer than we give it credit for. And these muscles, they reach all the way back to what is commonly known as your voice box or the larynx. And this is the part of your throat that controls the pitch and the volume of your voice. And the larynx also houses the vocal folds, or what we commonly know as the vocal cords. Now, in action, the folds, they look and act like a second set of lips. And it's the vibration of these vocal folds that produces a vibration in the air coming from your lungs and forced out from your diaphragm, which is down here underneath your tummy and underneath the lungs. And these are the muscles that make you breathe. And when you want to speak loudly enough to be heard, the diaphragm is what forces that air out faster and more powerfully so you can speak with authority and you can speak at a loud enough volume to be heard. So all of that rich power of your voice, it starts down here in the diaphragm muscle, and it pushes that air up and out of your lungs, and that air travels up through the trachea where the vocal folds vibrate. And when you sing, these folds can vibrate about 400 times a second. And those folds, which are muscles, they make little waves in the air. And those waves are sound waves. And they travel up through your mouth where your tongue further shapes these waves into speech. And that is how your audience can hear you and understand you. So we do this tongue stretch to help limber up one of these many muscles that will contribute to your overall vocal dexterity and your vocal power. And we loosen up the jaw muscle with a yawn so that your jaw is nice and loose and free to move in the way that you want it to. Now, you can massage your jaw muscles. You can take your fingers and place them where your jaw connects with your skull. And on the sides of your face, just gently rub there. And you can feel those muscles. And when they're tight, if this feels good, you're probably loosening up those tight muscles. When they're tight, you're not as free to move your mouth and to speak. Now, another safe way to warm up this whole vocal breath system is to do some closed mouth humming. You can never hurt your voice by humming. So keep your mouth closed. And take a deep breath, feel your diaphragm expand under your lungs and your rib cage. And keep a continuous hum going. Now make that hum a little louder and bring the volume up. And try and feel that force of air coming not just from your chest, but from your diaphragm to force that air up. Now, move your lips around as if there's a bee stuck in your mouth. Now, bring the sound up in pitch. Make it a little higher hum. Bring it down lower. It's very silly, but it's very fun. And as you vary the pitch, try to pay attention to how the change feels in your trachea. It's those vocal folds, those muscles moving in there that are changing that pitch. You can feel it here in your trachea. Now we're going to work on projection. Projecting your voice out into space so that you can be heard. You're not shouting, you're projecting. So take that humming, and I want you to turn that closed-lipped hum into an open-lipped me, and then throw that sound to the back of the room that you're in, like this. Me-yo! Try that with me. Me-yo! And what you're trying to do is to feel that yo down here punching out from your diaphragm. It's forcing that air out, pushing that forceful voice out. Now, one more time, try it with me. Me-yo. Okay, thank you. Those are a few exercises to help you warm up this whole system and to get you thinking about projecting your voice out to the back of the room. So that gets your voice up and out. Let's work on making that sound into something intelligible. Let's work on articulation. Because we tend to be very lazy with our mouths in everyday speech.